Hello 𝗬𝗏 viewers. Today we'll start time series analysis topic. When you arrange the data in a chronological order, then we say that the data is called time series. See here. Let us consider some data 1990, 1991, 1992, 1993. So this is one variable, let us consider it as x. It is one variable x, and y is a variable. It is taking the number of colleges in a geographical location. Let us consider it is there are 90 colleges in 1990. In the 91 it is increased by to 92, and again increased 95 and 99. So what we are doing here, we are arranging the data, the number of colleges in that location. We are arranging the data according to time. So this is a time series. Now this time series we can represent mathematically as yt is equal to a plus b xt. You can call it as f of t, function of t. Now this y of t is the value according to the time. When time changes, y of t will change. Let us consider the time period 1, time period 2, so on up to time period n, and y of t, there are values corresponding y1, y2, so on up to yn. Now these y values will not constantly increase or constantly decrease. They will fluctuate. At one point they will increase, at some other point they will decrease. So these are the y values with respect to the time series, the time periods t1, t2 and t9. Now these values will not constantly increase or constantly decrease, they will fluctuate. So there are many reasons for this fluctuations. So we call them also, some of them are components. So there are majorly 4 components in the time series. The first one is secular trend. The second one is seasonal variations. Third one is cyclic variations. Fourth one is irregular variations. Now in this, the seasonal and cyclic are periodic variations. These both you can call it as periodic variations. Now we will see each and every one clearly. So now first secular trend. Now usually this secular trend assumes the time period 10 or more than 10 years. So the best example you can give for the seasonal trend is our population census, calculating the population, or the agricultural production for over a decade, or the birth and death process over a decade, like this. Now this secular trend usually considers the long intervals of time. So in this, the data may increase, the values increase, decrease, or it may be a constant values. Okay. Second, seasonal variations. So the seasonal variations are nothing but in the seasonal variations usually considers the year 1. The time period for seasonal variations is usually 1 year. Now what are these seasonal variations? Now let us consider an example, the sale of umbrellas. The sale of umbrellas is usually more in the rainy season, or sale of cotton. The sale of cotton cloths is usually more in the summer seasons. So like this, the sale is affecting because of the season, not because of any other factor. It is just because of the seasons. So that is one of the factor for seasonal variation, that is climatic conditions. The second factor in the seasonal variations is man-made seasonal variations. Here in this man-made seasonal variations, example em cheppukochu ante like పెళ్ళిళ్ళ సీజన్లో మనకి గోల్డ్ అండ్ క్లాత్ సెల్లింగ్ ఎక్కువగా ఉంటుంది. సో లైక్ దిస్, దట్ ఈస్ వన్ బెస్ట్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ వీ కెన్ గివ్. అంటే ఆ పెళ్ళిళ్ళ సీజన్ టైంలోనే ద సేల్స్ ఆఫ్ ద గోల్డ్ ఆర్ ఆర్నమెంట్స్ ఆర్ sarees or kurtas or everything, that will be more in the marriage seasons. So that is one best example we can give for seasonal variations. Now these are the two factors in the seasonal variation. One is climatic variations and one is man-made seasonal variation. The third factor we can say is cyclic variations. So the cyclic variation usually considers the time period 2 or more than 2 years. So in the cyclic variations there is a graph like this. Usually we call this graph as a four-phased graph. Four-phased graph, or we can also call it as business cycles. Business cycle. So usually this cycle will repeat within the 2 or more years of time interval. The cycle will repeat. Now see here. You'll see what are the 4 phases in this cyclic variations. The first phase is prosperity. Prosperity. That means we are at a highest stage of the sales or whatever it is. We are at highest stage. Now there is depreciation. There is depreciation, that is we are at the lowest stage of the sales or whatever we call it. Now this process of moving from sales to depreciation is recession. Recession, the process of going prosperity to depression. Now again we are going to prosperity, and again going from depression to prosperity is recovery. So now prosperity, recession, depression and recovery. This is a 4 phases cycle. It will repeat. It will repeat within the time factor of 2 or more years. So this kind of cycles are nothing but the business cycles, we can call it, are also 4 phases cycle. We can also call it as a business cycles. Next, irregular variations. The irregular variations are the variations which are not predictable or which we cannot guess. Like let us see an example, earthquake. Earthquake. So because of this earthquake there will be effect in the population, or it may be in the production of agriculture, or it may be anything. So that is irregular. We cannot predict the earthquake. So that is a irregular variation. Or we can call it, one more example we can give is cyclones. So because of the cyclones there will be effect on agriculture production and also the human population. So this is irregular. We cannot predict that effect. We cannot predict the cyclone. And we can, one more example is epidemic. So when we have the epidemic diseases that will affect the size of the population, that will affect the birth and death process of a children. So this is also irregular variation. We cannot predict that okay, in so and so period of time there is a epidemic that will be happening. So these are irregular variations which we cannot predict, that will affect the time series data. Now measures. Okay, before going to measures, time series analysis methods. So there are 2 methods in which we can analyze our time series. The first method is, there will be YT, that is the total value at the particular time interval. Now this YT is affected by trend values at that period of time. This YT is affected by trend values at that particular period of time, or seasonal values at the particular period of time, or business cycles at that period of time, or irregular variation at that period of time. Now we have 2 processes for analyzing the time series. The first thing is, what we assume is each and every effect, that trend effect or seasonal effect or cyclic effect or irregular effect, they all act independently on YT. అంటే ఈ YT యొక్క వాల్యూ మీద ఈ అన్ని ఇండిపెండెంట్ ఎఫెక్ట్ చూపిస్తుంది. Then we go for additive model. We'll add all the effects and we'll write like this: YT is equal to trend plus seasonal variation plus cyclic variations plus irregular variations. This is nothing but additive model of the time series. Now there is second model where this each and every effect will be acting proportionally on the yt value. So then at that period of time we write yt is equal to t into s into c into I. That is, each and every effect, each and every variation is affecting proportionally on the yt value. Then we call it as multiplicative model. Multiplicative model. So these are the two methods which we analyze our time series methods. The first thing is each and everything will be acting independently on the yt, and the second thing is each and every variant is acting proportionally on the yt. Now when we write in the mathematical form, yt is equal to addition of all the addition of all the variations, that is additive model. And in the same way, when you multiply all the values, it will become the multiplicative model. So these are the two models for the time series data. One is additive model and one is the multiplicative model. In the additive model, all will be acting independently. In the multiplicative model, all will be acting in the proportional way. Now, out of this secular trend, or we can just call it as a trend, and one is seasonal, and the third one is cyclic, and the fourth one is irregular. We study about only secular and seasonal variations. How to fit this, how to calculate the secular trend, and as well as how to calculate this seasonal trend. So first thing I am saying is, we will discuss few methods here in the secular trend and also few methods for calculating the seasonal trend. You can concentrate only on methods and the steps involving in that methods. Don't worry about mathematical problems. He cannot ask, there is no possibility for asking the mathematical problems. You can just concentrate on the methods what we are doing and the steps what are involved in that methods. Okay. Now, so for calculating the secular trend, we have four methods. The first one is simple graph method. Second one is semi-averages. Third one is moving averages. The fourth one is method of least squares. Method of least squares. When coming to seasonal variations, we have simple averages method. Second method, ratio to trend method. Third method, ratio to moving averages method. Next one is link relative method. So we'll just see the steps what are involved in measuring this seasonal trend and secular trend and seasonal variations. The problems, there is no possibility for asking questions. Just concentrate on the methods and the steps involving in that methods and the formulas for each and every methods. That is enough. Now first, we'll see each and every one clearly. Graph. That is a simple graph. Let us take an example. Previously we have considered the years 1990, 1991, 1992 and 1993 and we write the value corresponding to 1990. Let us consider it is 90, 92, 95 and 97. These are the values. Just simply draw the graph, represent the 1990 year, 1991, 1992, 1993 and represent your values, represent your y values on the y axis 90, 92, 95 and 97. Draw a graph. That is a simple graph for the secular trend. Now, we will go to semi-average. So, let us consider the data x, y. Let us consider the years 1990, 1991, 1992, 1993, 1994, 1995. Now we have the values A1, A2, A3, A4, A5 and A6 corresponding to that year values. Now what I do is, in the semi-average method, I will just divide my data into two halves. That is, I will make partition in the middle. That is 1990, 91, 92 one part, 93, 94, 95 is other part. Now what I do is I will find average of this A1 plus A2 plus A3 by 3, and I will find average of this A4 plus A5 plus A6 by 3. Let us consider it is average A1, let us consider it is average A2. Now what I do is, what is the middle value in that first half, that is 1991, and the middle half in the second part is 1994. Now I will write the values 1991 A1, 1994 that is A2. What I do is I will just draw the graph X, Y, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 95. Now with respect to 1991, I will plot the A1 value. Let us consider here it is A1 value. With respect to 1994, I will plot some A2 value here. So I will draw a line joining these 2 points. Now this is called trend line. That line is called the trend line. So that's how we calculate the semi-averages method. Just remember the procedure, that's it. Third, moving averages. So for this moving averages, we calculate for 3-year moving average, 4-year moving average, and 5-year moving average. So these 3 and 5 years are nothing but almost same. Almost similar procedures. And the 4-year moving average is little different. Now we'll see what are the procedures. Consider the data values 1990, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, and 96. Now the values with respect to years are A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, and A7. Now first let us discuss 3-year moving average. So in the 3-year moving average, what I do is I'll take the average of this first 3 values and I'll assign that average to the middle number, the middle year. What is the middle year? 1991. I will assign that average to year 1991. Let us consider that average is A1. Now I will find average of next 3, that is A2, A3, and A4. And I will assign that average to the middle number A2, A3, A4 middle year enti 92. So I will assign that value to 92. Now again I will find average for next 3 numbers, that is A3, A4, and A5, and I will assign that value to the middle year, that is 93. In the same way 94, 95, 96, 95, 96, 97 వాటికి A4, A5 values ని అసైన్ చేస్తాను. See here, in the 3-year moving average లో 1990 కి వాల్యూ లేదు, 1996 కి వాల్యూ లేదు. That is, the 2 values will be reduced in the 3-year moving average. 2 values reduce అయిపోతాయి. ఇక్కడ null value ఉంటుంది, ఇక్కడ null value ఉంటుంది. Okay? Now, these A1, A2, A3, A4, A5 are called 3-year moving averages. This A1, A2, A3, A4, A5 are called 3-year moving averages. Okay, that's how we find the moving averages. So values finding akkada varaku chalu inka. Now we'll see the 5-year moving average. 1990, 1991, 1992, 1993, 1994, 1995, and consider 1996. Same way, they have the values A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, and A7. Now ఇక్కడ 3-year moving average అంటే ఏం చేస్తాము, 3 years కన్సిడర్ చేసి వాటి యావరేజ్ ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేస్తాము. So in the same way, here we have to consider the 5 values A1, A2, A3, A4, and A5. Find the average and assign that average value to the middle number. Middle number ఏంటి ఇక్కడ, middle year value, that is 92. Same way, calculate the next 5 numbers average, that is A2, A3, A4, A5 and A6. Now what is the middle value for that? It is 1993, that is A2, that is average. Same way A3 వస్తుంది, A4 వస్తుందా? 94, A4, A5, A6, A7 ఉంది. ఇక్కడ 4 digits ఉన్నాయి, ఇంకో డిజిట్ లేదు, 5th digit. So we cannot find for 95, 96. Here two values are null values. Here two values are null values. So when you are finding the 5-year moving average, the data points is reduced by 4 values, upper 2 values and lower 2 values. Whereas when you are calculating for 3-year moving average, the data points are reduced by 2 points, that is 1 in the upper and 1 in the lower. So these are 2 important points you have to remember in 5-year moving average and 3-year moving average. Now let us see the 4-year moving average. Consider data points 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96. Consider the values A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6 and A7. Now find the 4 years average A1, A2, A3 and A4. Average find out చేస్తాం, కానీ ఇప్పుడు మనకి ఇక్కడ 3-year moving average లో 4 years moving average లో మనకి మిడిల్ పాయింట్ ఉంటుంది, బికాస్ దే ఆర్ ఆడ్ నెంబర్స్, మిడిల్ ఒక ఇయర్ వాల్యూ ఉంటుంది. కానీ 4-year moving average ఈవెన్ కాబట్టి, సో దీంట్లో మనకి మిడిల్ వాల్యూ ఏముంటుంది? 91, 92 ఉంటుంది. సో వీ కెనాట్ అసైన్ ద వాల్యూ టు ఎయిదర్ 91 or 92. సో వాట్ వీ డూ ఈస్ విల్ జస్ట్ రైట్ ఇట్ ఇన్ ద మిడిల్లో రాసుకుంటాం దాన్ని. కన్సిడర్ A1. The same way find average for next 4 points A2, A3, A4 and A5. A2, A3, A4 and A5. Now assign that average to middle of 92 and 93. In the same way find average for A3, A4, A5, A6, A4, A5, A6 and A7. Now write the data points. Here we will get one average, here you will get one average, capital A1, A2, A3 and A4. So this is for A4, A5, A6 and A7, average is A4. Now after that what you have to do, actually these values are assigned to the middle of the 2 years. Now what we do is, again we will find average of these two. What we do, we will find again average of these two, A2 and A3, and I will assign that value, let us consider it is B1, I will assign that value to 1992. అంతే కదా, ఇప్పుడు A1కి A2కి మిడిల్ ఏముంది? A2 కదా ఉంది, సారీ 92 కదా ఉంది. సో I will assign that average B1 to 92. And again consider, take the average of A2 and A3. What average? Let us consider it is B2, and I will assign that B2 to 93. అలాగే A3, A4కి average B3, I will assign that to 1994. See here, again మనకి ఇక్కడ టోటల్ ఎన్ని వాల్యూస్ ఉన్నాయి? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 వాల్యూస్ ఉన్నాయి. కానీ మనకి లాస్ట్లో వచ్చేసి ఎన్ని వాల్యూస్ ఉన్నాయి? ఓన్లీ 3 వాల్యూస్ ఉన్నాయి. సో అంటే మనకి 4 null values. 4 null values, కింద 2, పైన 2. సో దిస్ ఇస్ ఆల్సో ఇంపార్టెంట్ పాయింట్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు రిమెంబర్. సో 5-year moving average, 4-year moving average లో విల్ గెట్ 4 null values and the data is reduced by 4. అలాగే 3-year moving average లో we have 2 null values. So remember that points. Next, method of least squares. Method of least squares. So let us consider okay. Now let us consider the data points 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95 and 96. Points A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6 and A7 values. This is X values and this is Y values. Now this is X values and this is Y values. Now we have to fit a line for this data. మనకి రిగ్రెషన్లో ఎలా ఫిట్ చేసాం లైన్స్, రిగ్రెషన్లో ఒక లైన్ ఫిట్ చేసాం పాయింట్స్ యూజ్ చేసుకొని, యూజింగ్ ద ప్రిన్సిపల్ ఆఫ్ లీస్ట్ స్క్వేర్స్ మెథడ్ by using a normal equations. The same method applies here. The same procedure we have to do here. So మనకి two data sets ఉన్నాయి, x variable ఉంది, y variable ఉంది. So using these two variables we have to fit a line. Let us consider. Let us recollect the normal equations which we have discussed in the regression topic. If a fitted line is y is equal to a plus bx, in order to find the constants a and b, we have the normal equations based on the principle of least squares. Those are summation y is equal to n into a plus b into summation x, summation xy is equal to summation a into summation x plus b into summation x square. So these are the two normal equations which we have discussed in the regression topic. Now using the same normal equations we have to fit a line for this data in the method of least squares. కానీ చూడండి ఇక్కడ సమ్మేషన్ ఆఫ్ xy, ఓకే మనకి a1 a2 a3 a4 వాల్యూస్ మనకి సమ్మేషన్స్ ఈజీగా ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేయొచ్చు. బట్ వాట్ ఎవర్ సమ్మేషన్ ఆఫ్ x, సమ్మేషన్ ఆఫ్ x అంటే 1990 1991 1992 సో ఆన్ యాడ్ చేయాలి. సరే యాడ్ చేసామనుకోండి, నెక్స్ట్ సమ్మేషన్ x స్క్వేర్ 1990 స్క్వేర్ 1991 స్క్వేర్, సో అలానే యాడ్ చేసుకోవాలి. సో దట్ ఈస్ వెరీ డిఫికల్ట్, అప్పుడు మనం ఏం చేస్తాం, విల్ గో ఫర్ deviations which we have discussed in the first unit when we are calculating the means calculate చేసేప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తాం, డేటా వాల్యూస్ పెద్దగా ఉంటే ఏం చేస్తాం మనం, విల్ ఫైండ్ ద డీవియేషన్ అండ్ విల్ రైట్ ద డీవియేషన్స్ అండ్ విల్ ఫైండ్ ద యావరేజ్ ఆఫ్ ద డీవియేషన్ అండ్ యాడ్ ఇట్ టు ద what are the assumed constant we have. The same procedure applies here. I am writing the new variable u. So consider how many points are there here, 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. 7 is odd number. 7 is a odd number. Now when in the case of odd numbers, I will just pick up the middle point. Middle point enti ikkada 1993 is the middle point. I will just write it as x minus 1993. అప్పుడు నాకు ఏమవుతుంది, ఇక్కడ ఇది 0 అవుతుంది ఆబ్వియస్లీ, ఇది -1 -2 -3 అవుతుంది, +1 +2 +3 అవుతుంది. ఇప్పుడు నాకు నార్మల్ ఈక్వేషన్స్ ఏమవుతాయి, సమ్మేషన్ y ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు n ఇంటూ a ప్లస్ b ఇంటూ సమ్మేషన్ u అవుతుంది. ఐఎమ్ రిప్లేసింగ్ x విత్ u. ఓకే, అప్పుడు నాకు ఫిటెడ్ ఈక్వేషన్ కూడా చేంజ్ అయిపోతుంది. ఫిటెడ్ ఈక్వేషన్ విల్ బి y ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు a ప్లస్ b ఇంటూ x ప్లస్లో ఏం పెడుతున్నాం మనం, 1993. సో నా ఫిటెడ్ ఈక్వేషన్ కూడా చేంజ్ అవుతుంది. ఫిటెడ్ ఈక్వేషన్ ఏమవుతుంది ఇక్కడ, y ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు a ప్లస్ b ఇంటూ u అవుతుంది. సో u ప్లేస్లో వాట్ ఐమ్ యూజింగ్ హియర్, x మైనస్ 1993. నౌ ఇట్ విల్ బికమ్ y ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు a ప్లస్ b ఇంటూ x మైనస్ 1993. నౌ my normal equations will be like this. Summation y is equal to n into a plus b into summation u, and summation u into y is equal to a into summation u plus b into summation u square. So in order to find summation u, it is very easy. In this case it is directly 0, and you can get summation u square also, and summation y, summation ui, all are easy to calculate. So we have converted all those years into simple numbers. Like this we will proceed in the method of least squares. u laga convert cheskuntam, u values vastayi. So then it is very easy to calculate. Directly substitute all the values, find out all the values, summation y, summation u, summation ui, summation u square. Directly find all the values and substitute in these two equations and get a comma b values, and substitute this a comma b values in this equation, y is equal to a plus b into x minus 1993. Now after finding that, in order to get any future values, let us consider 2009 value నాకు కావాలి అంటే, అకార్డింగ్ టు దిస్ సిరీస్ డేటా వాల్యూస్ అని ఇలా ఉన్నాయి కదా. నౌ ఇదే డేటా సిరీస్ ఫాలో అవుతూ నాకు 2009 ఇయర్లో ఏ వాల్యూ వస్తుంది అనేది ఎలా ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేస్తాం, యూజింగ్ దిస్ ఈక్వేషన్ విల్ ఫైండ్ అవుట్. y is equal to a plus b into x minus 1993. దిస్ ఈస్ ద ఈక్వేషన్. a and b వాల్యూస్ కాన్స్టెంట్స్ ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేసి ఈక్వేషన్లో పెట్టేస్తాం. y is equal to ఇప్పుడు a plus b into x వాల్యూ ఏంటి, ఇక్కడ 1999, నాకు 1999 ఇయర్ వాల్యూ కావాలి. సో 2009 ఇయర్ వాల్యూ కావాలి. సో 2009 minus 1993. Directly I will get yt, that is nothing but y at 2009 value. y at 9 value. Like this, we will predict the future values using the fitted equation using method of least squares. So this is one case. Now ఇక్కడ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ వాల్యూస్ మనకి ఆడ్ వాల్యూస్ ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి డైరెక్ట్ మనం మిడిల్ వాల్యూ తీసుకున్నాం, 0 వచ్చింది, సమ్మేషన్ 0 అవుతుంది. ఇట్ ఈస్ వెరీ సింపుల్ ఫర్ క్యాలిక్యులేషన్స్. వాట్ అబౌట్ ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఈవెన్ నెంబర్? లెట్ us see here. Consider the data values 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, consider 6, that is even. A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6. Now, these are x values, these are y values. The same procedure lo aithe eటువంటి change undadu, only the variable which we are converting, that is different. ఇప్పుడు మన కాన్స్టెంట్ ఇక్కడ ఏం తీసుకోవాలి అనేది డిఫరెంట్ ఉంటుంది. హియర్ u is equal to x minus average of the middle two numbers, that is 92 and 93, average of middle numbers divided by half into the length of the class, that is 1 year here. In this case it is 1 year, 1990 నుంచి 1991, 91 నుంచి 92. The length of class interval enti only 1 year, so it is half into 1. Like this we will change the x value to y value. Now substitute all the values in the u. 1990 పెట్టండి. So first what is the average of middle two values, 1992 and 1993? It will become x minus 1992.5 divided by half into 1 kabatti it will become like this. Okay, u value will be 2 into x minus 1992.5. 1990 substitute 2 into 1990 minus 1992.5, it will become 2 into entical difference minus 2.5, it will become minus 5. So u value will become minus 5 here. Same way we have to calculate for all the values u. The normal equations will be summation y is equal to n into a plus b into summation u, summation xy is equal to summation uy is equal to summation u into a plus b into summation u square. So using these two, find a comma b and substitute these values in our fitted equation y is equal to a plus bu. కానీ ఇక్కడ u ఏంటి? y is equal to a plus b into x minus average of middle values divided by half into class interval. So when you substitute a and b values here, you directly get the fitted equation using the principle of least squares. The same way, if you want to find predict any future value, directly substitute that future value x here, then you will get the predicted value using this method of least squares. So till now we have seen how to measure the trend values. So in the next class we will see how to measure the seasonal variations. Thank you.